My partner of 1.5 years packed all of his stuff from our apartment, left a note, and left while I was out with friends and hasn't talked to me since. My partner left me today while I was out with my friends. He packed all of his clothes, all his items, turned his location off, and left without saying a word. I found out when I got home. We lived together. I'm in disbelief. The note basically said, "I love you, and you did nothing wrong. I'm sorry I left like this." I don't wish this on anyone. I called him 30 times and he didn't answer me once. 1.5 years down the drain. I did everything for him, gave him every piece of me. He absolutely destroyed me. I don't know how to feel. I just needed to say this. Edit, for those asking what I did. My ex was a textbook avoidant. He kept saying he would work on things, but I guess never truly did. I spent months where anytime anything was brought up, he would shut down, not say anything, and leave me with my own feelings. I had to express less or say things in the right way to get a response. He left to Japan for 2 weeks before coming back yesterday. I picked him up from the airport and cooked him dinner. The next day, aka today, we spent hours talking about his trip and looking at pictures. I later expressed his communication on the trip, barely one message, and that he hid things from me whilst on his trip, lied about events and people. He shut down. He dropped me off at brunch, said I'll see you later, and then I came home to the above. In the comments, Ninja Bunny says, "Your comment history indicates you've been unhappy, dissatisfied, frustrated, and wanting out for a long time. I'd say his actions clearly state he feels the same. You have unmet needs, and since he's an avoidant, he probably felt nagged and henpecked when all you were doing was trying to ask for what you needed. This wasn't going to work anyway. He did you a favor." OP says, "I still loved him and was willing to work and give him space to work on things together, but you're right, it wasn't going to." Ninja Bunny replies, "You sacrificed way too much of yourself in this relationship. Prioritize your needs, your wants, and your happiness. You deserve to feel cared for and appreciated and heard. People don't do this when they are happy. I personally look at this like a gift. No arguing or fighting, no delaying the inevitable. Take what you learned and use it in life going forward. This is on him. You didn't want this man. Thank the Lord that it was only 1.5 years and move on." Yeah, imagine every single problem the guy just shuts down and avoids. It's like someone who claims to have a high IQ and rock-solid logic while using 7 or so fallacies and can never admit that he is wrong. It's the mentality of a child. Honestly, I was married to a man who never talked about his feelings for 20 years. We were in marriage counseling 3 times. It made a bit of a difference each time, but then things went back to the way they were before. After 20 years, he had an affair. When I discovered, he offered to move out next month. This was early December. He wanted to give the kids a normal Christmas. I was like, what? No. Spoiler, my marriage was over. Just like that. Had he not left you now, like that, you too might have had a 20-year feelings-avoidant marriage with constant attempts at counseling to get some intimacy, please. Failing that, you would do your best to be as loving as you could, one way, anyway, and hope that it would miraculously get better someday, and then wham! One day it would just be over. And if that were to be the case, if that is truly where the relationship was going for OP, I think it's better that it did end this way and that you can just move on. I know a lot of people are like, but we need to get clarity. I need to get closure. I desperately need closure. I don't think OP needs closure from this guy in this instance. He just up and left you for 2 weeks in Japan, lied about things that he was doing there, sent you one message the entire time, and then continued how he was before. Why are you even with this guy? Not to be all victim blamey, but Jesus, your needs were not being met. You gotta know when enough is enough, and it's been 1.5 years. They just are not changing. This is who they are. As much as we love our partners, as much as we want them to change, people are not going to change unless they want to, and he showed no signs of that. Obviously, I don't have the whole situation, I don't have all the context, but I can very easily guess that he is an avoidant personality based on the comments, based on what OP has said, and that he could have potentially just been cheating on OP while in Japan. They could have been someone else that he was trying to get with, who knows? That's not someone that's worth sticking around with, and I think it's for the best that he just up and disappeared like this. Why would you want more closure? That just potentially opens the door to him again. And now, onto the update. My therapist encouraged me to send a voice note with all the questions and things I had to say. So I did, no expectation of a reply. I ended it saying I freed him of me, that he finally got what he wanted, and that was out. I got a voice note back, saying, I never planned on leaving you. It just hit me all at once in the silence. It felt like the only way to stop causing you pain was to leave. I have avoidant tendencies, and you're right. I run away when things get hard. You loved me fully, and I was always half worried that things would fall apart. I hate that I let that fear take something good away. I was tired of hurting you and making you feel like you weren't enough. I never wanted to lose you. When you said you freed me, that really hurt. I'm not free in the way that you think I am. I'm incredibly sad, I feel guilty, I feel conflicted. I'll honor having a face-to-face conversation, but understand if you don't want to. I'm gutted, confused, and unsure what to even make of all of it. What it all means. I showed him so much proof that I loved him every day. It feels like a gut punch to know that any argument or disagreement erased all of that. That his fear was stronger than fighting for me. In the comments, Kimi Sharma says, "Cut contact. There is nothing he can say that will help you heal." His response makes him seem like he views himself as a martyr instead of taking accountability for his decision. If he can't be honest with himself, then any further conversations will just be running around in circles. Sometimes you have to prioritize peace over hypothetical closure. Also, I'm not free in the way that you think I am, I'm incredibly sad, I feel guilty, I feel conflicted, and wanting a face-to-face now is all very manipulative. It gives, I left, but thought if I changed my mind I could come back. I wanted that door open, but you shutting it means that I can't keep you on the back burner. OP, he went on a 2-week trip without you, did not keep contact, and lied about his activities and whereabouts? Came back and immediately moved out when confronted on it? Sounds shady. Personally, I would take what he wrote as closure, if that's what you were looking for. I would not meet him again. He's told you his alleged reason for leaving. Nothing further he could say will do anything for you, except to possibly manipulate you into keeping the door open for him to come back. Focus on yourself and healing from the pain that he has caused. Edit to add, I mean he avoided all contact with you until you told him he was free. And then all of a sudden he wants to meet face to face and give a sob story as to why he left? Now seems he wants to make you feel badly for him and wait for him. Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to meet up with him in person or at all really. For one, he's avoidant, that's been established. I wouldn't doubt that he would ditch at the last second, but more importantly, you still had to be the first person to reach out after he left, with only that cruddy note left behind. Besides, it hasn't been anywhere near enough time for him to have actually gotten better. Even if you were able to talk things out now, he would likely just pull this stunt again in the near future. Yeah, he's gonna want you to fix him. Don't let him slither back in. You gotta know when enough is enough. Taking care of yourself is our responsibility as adults. He is responsible for himself. I agree with that. I don't like at all what happened with that 2-week trip in Japan. If you have self-respect and dignity, you have to cut it off there. Everything that happened before that is just justification, but I think that is completely unacceptable what he did. And then to just disappear out of nowhere when questioned about why he was being so shady, what he was doing. He didn't have an explanation because there isn't one. There is no trust to be found there. He deserves to be broken up with. I understand why you wanted closure. It made sense why your therapist told you to do what you did there. I hope you don't come back in the future saying, I'm really glad I got back with him. I closed the door on him and I opened it right back up and I'm back with him and I'm as miserable as ever. What do I do? Please don't be that person, OP. Please take the advice of the comments and block him and move on with your life. You've gotten the closure you needed and it has muddied the water even further. There is nothing to say to that. There is nothing that will change this. Let's all make better decisions going forward as a result of stories like this. Thank you for the story. Thank you for the update, OP. Best of luck. Am I overreacting because my husband won't watch our baby while I'm gone? I, 36 female, am going out of town for a few days. My husband, 39 male, refuses to watch the baby while I'm gone. He basically said that I could just take her, 9 months old, with me. And I could, but he's her dad, and I'm at a loss as to why he won't watch her for 4 days. My best friend offered to watch her, and he would rather the baby stay with her an hour away than watch her on his own. Safe to say, I'm not too happy about it, and we've had some words. Just not sure that they were strong enough. Am I overreacting? Edited to add, we've spoken countless times on this, and he says, she scares me. But he's had 9 months to step up and hasn't. It feels more to me that he feels trapped when he's watching her and can't do his own thing. We both work full-time, baby is in daycare during the day, I am the primary breadwinner. Not said out of malice, just fact. Also, I've had some speculation that I'm a bot, but unfortunately I'm not. This is my real life. In the comments, not overreacting. If your husband won't take care of his own child, then why are you married to him? How could you still love a man that would treat you and your child this way? That's a real question. You might as well be a single mum instead of a married single mum. I would immediately fall out of love with my husband if he ever said this. My husband and I work opposite shifts, so he took care of our daughters every day that I worked 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. He cooked them dinner, he bathed them, he took him to the park, he took him to the beach for picnics. This is what you deserve, OP. I have always been a married single mum, now I'm separated. Life is easier. I had my first child as a single mum, sperm donor deserted us just before the baby came, and my second while married. Number 1 was 1,000 times easier, partly because I had no one to resent for being unhelpful. Celador says, not overreacting. I assume you've never left him alone with the baby overnight in the last 9 months? Have you ever left him alone with the baby at all? Like for a few hours while you get lunch with your best friend? If he has cared for the baby alone before, he may just be terrified of being responsible for her overnight and panicked that he'll end up harming her. If he's willing to admit that that's the reason, that's something y'all can work through. If he's unwilling to be alone with the baby at all, or he refuses to explain what his problem is, you've got some serious issues. OP says, yes, I've left the baby with him for periods of time, but no, not overnight. If I suggested that, he'd be like, can your mum watch her? It was like pulling teeth to get him to watch her alone the first couple of times. He had to have a crutch person here, i.e. his friend. Now I can at least go to the store or somewhere for the afternoon and be okay, but it's always poor me when I get home. So, you have 2 babies then? And OP says, indeed. To be clear, he's not scared of staying with his daughter alone. He feels butthurt that his alone time is being taken away from him. He feels that he should be able to do what he wants, when he wants, and you should be on standby at all times to be a full-time mother. Please do not have any more children with this man-child. Do his parents know that he acts like this? Maybe consider couples therapy. OP says, I'm not having any more children with him. I don't know that his parents are the authority on parenting either. We did couples counseling for over a year from the time that I found out I was pregnant until the baby was about 4 months old. Nothing changed. There are other issues, but by the time that I was going to tell him that we needed to wait to have a baby, I was already pregnant. But I love my baby so much, I just couldn't imagine life without her. Back up to the post, there is an update. As you can see from some of my comments, my husband and I have tried counseling. We did it for over a year, but I think we had the wrong counselor. They ended up being very buddy-buddy, so I've signed up for online counseling, and I'm going to see if there is any changes with that. I'm also going to reaffirm boundaries and expectations. I not only want to be happy and have my baby happy and healthy, but I also want him to be a successful parent. I think in situations like this, it's always going to come back to just what we always say and what is so true of life. He's not going to change unless he wants to. He will change when he wants to and if he wants to. And for me, the fact that he hasn't changed shows that he does not care. He is happy enough with the status quo. And it's always ultimatums that will force people to change. But I feel more often than not, it's just a superficial change until they can let their old habits slip back in. I, in my heart of hearts, want him to be a successful parent. I want him to stop the bullshit with OP. I want them to stay together, and I want them to have a healthy co-parenting relationship. But given everything she's been saying, and how this has progressed, and his change being at a snail's pace at best, the chances of that don't seem very likely. This sucks. And I tend to agree with a lot of people in the comments here. What are you still doing with this guy? It's better to look after one kid rather than two. How have you not laid down the law earlier on? How have you allowed this to get to the situation that you're in now, where he's just like, I don't want to look after the kid that we had. I don't really want the responsibilities of a parent. You don't get that choice, buddy. You're either a parent or you're not. That's how it is with kids. You don't get to shirk that responsibility off on other people. Frankly, that is disgusting. That is insulting, and that is everything wrong with lousy, good-for-nothing parents. I don't think he deserves to have parental rights, given how he's been acting with this child. I'm so serious. This pisses me off. I expect OP to give him a harsh ultimatum in this update, because to allow this disrespect to go on for so long is so disheartening. And now, on to the update. I went on my trip, and my baby stayed with my best friend. She had a blast. My husband picked her up on Sunday, so he had her for one night. I just walked in the door 1.5 hours ago. He had a doctor's appointment shortly after I got back, which I knew about, but on his way out of the door, he said he was also going to drop off his car at the mechanic and run an errand with his buddy. Those two things I did not know about. No communication, just an FYI and a goodbye. Said he was hoping to be back by 4 to hang out with the family. He pouted for a minute when I flat out said, "Well, you didn't tell me that you had to do all of that," but ended up just telling him to leave because I didn't want to watch a grown man pout. He had 3 full days by himself to get everything he needed done, but he chose the moment that I got home to leave. FYI, we had started counseling a week ago, but only had 1 session so far. In the comments, DFW couple says, "So in addition to him being a lame dad, he's also a lame husband. Neither good nor bad. Null, if you're familiar with databases. Good relationships start with being there, being engaged. He's neither. There's a piece to the puzzle that's missing." OP says, "If you find the missing piece, will you let me know? Ask any question you want and I'll answer them. I don't know if it'll help, but I can try. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong." Girl, stand the fuck up! Lamau? This is the kind of person that gives dads a bad reputation. I hope the counseling works out. Hypothetically, if/when your husband is no longer making any progress in counseling, I want you to imagine your baby in 20 years being in the same relationship that you're in. What is your advice to your daughter? Do you want her to be in this situation? The good old "it ends with us" peak moment. I'll keep bringing it up, I don't care. That was powerful for me. Dads like this piss off my husband so bad. I had a C-section and literally didn't change 1 diaper the first week of our daughter's life. I'm a stay-at-home mum, and his job has been tough lately, but every day as soon as he gets home, he immediately takes over with our daughter without me asking. Look, girl, I think you should consider leaving if you can do so financially. He doesn't want to be a dad. He doesn't want to be a husband. He's a kid in the body of an adult, and he had a baby by accident. Even if he was ready to be a dad, I highly doubt he actually gave it a thought beyond, oh, I guess I'll have a mini-me. He would rather be buddy-buddy with your shared counselor instead of working on the problems of this marriage, because it's easier to dunk on you and make you feel invalidated than to put his head in the game. He only takes the easy way out, even when it's not helping in any way. I don't know if counseling can fix anything if he doesn't actually think that anything is wrong, and he isn't thinking that anything is wrong with this situation because he thinks he's justified in just not being a parent or husband. After all, you are already the parent and the breadwinner, so why should he, a late 30s teenager, have to step up in any way? He's just some random guy living in your house who shares half his DNA with your child, and that's how he sees himself, even if he doesn't voice it. He doesn't want to rise to the occasion, and I think you're wasting your life by trying to fix someone who insists that nothing needs fixing. Couldn't agree more. I choose these comments for a reason. This resonates with me as well. I don't know, guys. I don't want to victim blame, but it's just so sad to see someone like OP stay with someone who very obviously does not want to be anything in her life. He doesn't want to be a father. He's shown it through his actions. He's very much shown it through his words. He'd rather be buddy-buddy with the counselor, with the therapist, instead of doing what is going to give him a better, overall, well-rounded life because he doesn't see an issue with it. And he doesn't recognize that being buddy-buddy with the counselor is going to lead to the downfall of his marriage if OP is willing to push it there. This is not the update that I wanted to read. This pissed me off even more. Please do something about this man. He is useless. He is beyond useless. Why have a husband? Why have a partner if they don't want to look after their own child? Why are you even together in the first place? What was the point? Why do we get married and have relationships with people that we want to share our life with if they don't want to build a life together, if they don't want to do the maintenance required? What is the point, genuinely? Why even come to Reddit to ask for answers to these questions if you're not even going to act on them? That's my question. What did you think was going to happen by not putting your foot down? Did you think he's just going to magically be better? I don't know. Please come back with another update telling us that you gave him an ultimatum. This time, I believe in you, OP. You're going to do it. I trust you. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!